So pretty much everybody's waiting to get their tax refund for 2024, which is technically for tax season 2023, right? But I got some news hot off the press that you're definitely going to be happy to hear about. It's going to make your wallets or potentially make your wallets just a little bit fatter, right? And who wouldn't appreciate that with this high inflation that we're dealing with, right? Now, before you guys go ahead and file your taxes, you might want to hear this out. So yesterday, January the 16th, so January 16th, 2024, Congress dropped a little bit of a bombshell on us, guys. And basically, they've been cooking up this tax deal that could mean a nice little boost for potentially millions of Americans. Now, think tax breaks for parents, think tax breaks for businesses, think tax breaks and revitalize child tax credit. Now, you guys remember the child tax credits that we saw during the pandemic, right? Pretty sure most of you guys do remember those. Now, what's going on, Catalia? What's going on, Republic Now? Michelle Davis, if you guys are able to see and hear me okay, just drop me a quick comment. Let me know that I'm good here. So here's a lowdown on this particular proposal here, all right? So what we got is we got basically the big wigs in the Senate and the House tax committees. They've pretty much shaken hands on expanding the child tax credit, and they're throwing in some sweeteners for businesses as well. Because here's the thing, if we've watched anything and paid attention, we know that the Democrats are basically for tax credits and breaks for families, children, and the like. But the Republicans are more in line with tax breaks and keeping taxes low for businesses and for typically higher income earners. So the only way that this is going to work is if it's bipartisan. So you got to have some tax breaks in there for the parents, for the people, for children, and of course you need tax breaks in there for businesses in order to get both parties to be able to come to the table and have a deal. So basically that's what we're looking at right now. So basically the bigwigs in the Senate and the House tax committees have shaken hands on expanding this child tax credit. And they're basically throwing in some sweeteners for the businesses, for the business owners, the entrepreneurs, but it's a big but, right? This Congress or this deal still needs the green light from both chambers of Congress, right? But it looks like it has what it needs to make this thing actually happen. How many of you guys remember the tax credits that were sending out monthly checks out to people not last year, like 2 years ago? I think it was something like, I want to say it was like $500 a month or $250 a month. Basically, it was like $3,600 a year in child tax checks that were going out to parents, and they were talking about making it a permanent tax credit. Those are back in the day, back in the stimulus check days. I don't know how many of you guys remember that. And there were the inflated unemployment checks that were going out. What's going on, Darlene? Thank you for confirming. You can see me, Republic Now. We got Erica B in the house. Thank you very much. I got Fa and Fo. Rena Jordan, what's going on? Appreciate you guys. Faye King, Kelly Murphy. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. How are you guys doing today? Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments. So, but basically, the impact on families and businesses is this, right? If this thing goes well, if this thing goes through, we are literally talking about up to $2,000 per kid by 2025. For families with multiple kiddos, this could be a game changer. And here's the thing, guys. We're actually looking at stuff that could actually hit our bank accounts this year. Like they're talking about retroactive, making this retroactive. I'm gonna go into the details later in this video. You guys are definitely gonna want to hear about that. But again, not just businesses, not just families. Not just families, but also businesses are basically looking at getting some of these juicy tax breaks. Now, hopefully you didn't file your taxes yet. It's only the 17th of January. It's only January 17th. So most people probably, let me know if you got your W-2s yet. Anybody get your W-2s yet? Because you're not going to go file your taxes until you get your W-2s. And how much you think you're going to get back? Most people should typically expect a tax refund. Some people are going to owe taxes. I'm going to owe taxes. I already know it. But anyway, that's another story. But imagine, you're running a small business, you're struggling to keep up with all of your expenses, and then, these proposed tax breaks could mean the difference between just kind of scraping by and then all of a sudden you're thriving, right? So let's look at the broader impact here, right? It's not just about the extra cash. It's about reducing child poverty. Remember, the reports came out and they were talking about how many children had come out of child poverty during like 2020 and 2021 when they were mailing out stimulus checks. So just think about how many people could come out of poverty, especially folks on Social Security, SSI, SSDI. Fixed income individuals would likely love to come out of poverty basically anybody who's probably looking at Social Security as their primary source of income is probably not doing all that well because Social Security is so minimal. But anyway, let's get back to this, right? So, this could also, not only reduce child poverty, but also kind of help to give businesses a leg up. And even believe it or not, kind of make it like a diplomatic move the toward Taiwan with the tax treaty. But of course, in our current political circus that we're dealing with, nothing's ever smooth sailing. So I don't want to get you guys' hopes up, but I do want you to understand what's coming down the pipeline and what looks like is likely to become a reality for us. But there's a bit of a tiff about whether this deal leans too much toward corporations and leaves some of the kids in the dust. So with that being said, the time is ticking. Tax season's right around the corner. But if that is the case, we could theoretically possibly see the Democrats go back to the Republicans and say, hey, you guys are taking care of the businesses a little bit more than you're taking care of, families. How about we do this? I'll go ahead and give you your business tax credits, but we got to bump this $2,000, tax credit up for families. This $2,000 tax credit, we need to bump that up to $3,600 the way it was years ago. How does that sound? And so again, it's basically it's like going into a car dealership, not paying sticker, negotiating back and forth on the price, and then walking out with a deal that both parties can agree to, right? So what can you do right now, right? Well, number one, you can hold off on filing your taxes, right? Definitely don't want to miss out on, basically, what do you call it? You don't want to miss out on your tax deals and discounts that could be due to you. I definitely wouldn't want to do that, right? But make sure your tax professional is aware of what is going on here, right? So here you got the top tax writers in the House have announced a $78 billion bipartisan deal just Tuesday. That was, just today. Actually, technically it was yesterday. But anyway, so that was January 16th. Today is January 17th, right? But this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? You got the child tax credit gives a boost under the agreement, increasing the maximum credit per child from $1,600 down up to $2,000 through 2025, right? So, but get this, guys. So this credit will also be adjusted for inflation in 2024 and 2025. The maximum credit for each taxpayer would be calculated on a per child basis rather than capping the credit at 15% of the earned income over the $2,500 across the board. Now, here's something that I want you guys to look at here. So this shift is aiming to ensure that the child tax credit phase-in is applied fairly to families with multiple children. Okay, I don't know if you guys remember, but during the pandemic, when they were sending stimulus checks out and stimmy checks and all those other things out, some of these families were getting like $9,000 tax credit or $9,000 tax checks or tax credit checks or $9,000 tax payments, however you want to look at it. Not exactly sure on the details for 2024 for the 2023 tax year, but the details are going to continue to come out. And I can't wait to share those with you as soon as we get more updates and details. The tax deal would raise the ceiling on the low income housing tax credit by 12.5% through 2025. This would allow states to allocate more credits to affordable housing projects, with rising rents, mortgage rates at, 2-decade-long highs. Who wouldn't appreciate more affordable housing projects being funded to theoretically be able to hopefully kind of like lower rent and make our most expensive living expense, which is our housing, actually hopefully be less expensive in the future, right? So that's a big deal. 16 million kids from low income families would be better off as a result. Um, and also, they're talking about now, this is for the entrepreneurs here, for the entrepreneurs, for the business owners, for the side hustlers. If you're getting a 1099, if you're like an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, if you have a online business, if you got a side hustle, maybe you do hair, if you run a landscaping business, basically, if you work for yourself and you're not getting a W 2, but you earn an income, this is for you. Reinstated business deductions. So these three business deductions were taken away in the 2017 tax cuts and Jobs Act, and they would be reinstored under this particular deal. So the deal would actually push back a current law that requires businesses to deduct research and development costs over a 5-year period instead of allowing them to deduct these expenses of American-based research and development investments immediately. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. It also allows for, and this is going to boost. This is going to make businesses want to expand their businesses. This would make businesses want to hire more people. This would make entrepreneurs want to, take more risks, expand their companies, and this creates more jobs. This would create more tax revenue for the government. So it's really a win-win when you look at it. By the way, if you guys appreciate the content, if you appreciate being informed, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Totally appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Also, there's a carve out for Taiwanese companies. So this tax deal will also establish a carve out for Taiwanese companies to prevent double taxation for businesses and workers with a footprint in both the United States and Taiwan, which, if you think about it, we got this whole, concern about whether or not China's going to take over Taiwan. And if that happens, United States involvement, could be a World War III kind of situation, which we don't want. China has made it very, very clear that their intent is to take over Taiwan and to reestablish unity between the two nations. Of course, the United States is a staunch, ally to Taiwan, and it doesn't look like the United States is going to be backing down and allowing China to take over Taiwan. So, I could see why the United States would want to offer some tax relief for Taiwanese or companies that have locations in Taiwan. And of course, there's some tax relief for some disaster victims. Under the proposed deal, victims of wildfires, we're talking about, you remember the wildfires in Maui, Hawaii, Lahaina, Maui, over in Hawaii. There were wildfires that took place in multiple parts of the United States. I want to say Louisiana had wildfires. You guys let me know in the comments if you remember any other states that experienced wildfires. Definitely California had a series of wildfires. But get this. So, and it's not just the wildfires. The tax relief for disaster victims under this proposed deal, victims of wildfires, the Norfolk Southern derailment train wreck accident that took place in East Palestine, Ohio, would also receive some tax relief with any other kind of disaster relief payments, not counting toward their taxable income. So that would be great. Imagine you were affected by this tragedy, the train derailment. You get your check and they're not going to tax it, theoretically. So that would definitely be a good thing. So basically, this bipartisan tax deal could literally be a huge bit of prosperity for millions and millions of families who hopefully haven't filed their taxes yet and may be able to take advantage of some of this goodness. So, top lawmakers in the Senate and Congress, they're making some progress here, and this is a good sign. What I do like, though, about this is I could have sworn, okay, so the legislation dubbed the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act for 2024, this is expanding the child tax credit for 3 years. And this would theoretically allow families with multiple children to take advantage of the credit. And so this is the part I wanted to share with you guys. Another part under the bill, it would lift the amount to $1,800 for 2023, $1,900 in 2024, and $2,000 in 2025. So this is definitely a plus for a lot of families. Hope you guys are paying attention here, and make sure your tax guys, some of you guys, I don't know if you use like H&R Block or TurboTax or Jackson Hewitt for your tax filing, but make sure that they're aware of these different these updates that are coming down the pipeline. But basically, here's another thing. So tax or file lawmakers from both parties have pressed to restore the tax deduction for state and local income taxes. The 2017 tax law capped it at $10,000, and it is scheduled to expire in 2025. So we got to keep an eye on that one. Many members from states with high state and local property taxes want to get rid of this cap and reinstate this deduction, but of course, no agreement on the proposal to include that as a part of the new tax package has been made yet. But it is a possibility that they add that in there as well. So let me know you guys' thoughts, guys. Also, if you made it this far in the video, hit the like button for the video. Check out my previous videos. I announced yesterday that there were over like 10,000 well, basically there were like 10,000 flights canceled as a result of this polar vortex that we're dealing with right now. How many of you guys are freezing your butts off like I am? Well, I'm not freezing my butt off in the house, but if I go outside, I'll be freezing my butt off. But basically last night we had hit 12 degrees. I don't know how cold it is where you guys are at, but a lot of people are saying that their kids' school stayed open and the kids were pissed off. A lot of the kids, as a matter of fact, were my kid was telling me that they signed off a petition to close the schools because basically they left. Our school stayed open, so it's like, hey, why have all of these other schools in the state closed because it was so cold, but yet our school stayed open, right? So there's a big, huge petition. Those kids ended up having to go to school. Well, technically, I could have had my kid stay home, but he didn't. And he was telling me how few people were even at the school, and it just wasn't fair. But anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying warm. I hope your power grids are able to handle this higher demand in your area for all this extra heating usage. I hope you have firewood. I hope you have some extra backup batteries, maybe fuel for the generators if you need it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope that this was helpful and useful to you. Subscribe, like, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.